Uranium friends, quickie rundown, pertinent names, starting it off with CCJ on the daily. So a little bit of a pivot. Got my fibs run now, so that's what we're looking at. Rejections at the 23.6% retracement of this move. It's this daily 12 EMA is has been resistance. It's kind of starting to look like it's working its way through. For me, in my opinion, on CCJ, I care only about one thing. It's got to get over 43, right? Gets over 43, um, then we can talk about some sort of progress here. I did change this anchored VWAP. I originally had it off of here, I believe, right? So it was originally there. Let me just double check, see where it lands. Yeah, that's originally where it was, but now we've got a nice pivot. So I'm moving this to this upper pivot, and that's what we got. This is what it ends up being. So there's no surprise. Should be no surprise to anybody that 43, 44, 45 area are going to be rejection points, okay? It shouldn't be a surprise. It doesn't mean it's going to be. I'm just saying it shouldn't be a surprise. We know anything can happen here. So that's a daily. It's doing some work, not enough. Possibly a little inverse daily head and shoulders. Back to the weekly. Yeah, hasn't even begun to tap that weekly 12 EMA, which is at 43.78. Was right where the VWAP is. So could expect some rejections there. At least a pause, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. Monthly is still good, right? So we haven't taken out monthlies last month's low yet. Early yet for us, but okay. Denison had a great day, right? Here's a daily. This is a channel it's kind of been respecting. It's a pretty big undercut there. Let's see how it handles itself when it gets back up there. But Denison has it's a dinky one, but it has a daily trend change, right? And it's well over its 12 EMA. It's leading this bounce. Denison, Next Gen, and UEC to some extent. Even UUUU are kind of leading here. So pretty good, right? Daily trend change well above the EMA, closing well above it of the 12 EMA, and taking out a lot of these recent level resistance levels at 189. So pretty good on Denison. Denison had a great day, right? Great week. Even though it did show continuation of consolidation, it's a big outside week now. So these outside weeks are kind of like tap the brakes until you see either the high break or the low break and see how it plays out. You could see some inside bars for all we know. Just wait and see on that. But 12 EMA still kind of it's dancing around it right now. Monthly inside bar so far, nothing to speak of here. In my opinion, it's just going to be no surprise at all if it comes down and tests this 12 EMA. But who knows? Encore Energy daily, still weak. Yeah, it's this little channel I put down there just for visual, but continuing on the daily downtrend, right? So no trend change on these bounces. Still continuing down with lower lows and lower highs. Encore, and just weekly consolidation is continuing. These are like indecision dojis, right? Everything's just smack in the middle of this range of the weekly range from last week. So now it's all about where does this, which way does this weekly range being set up change? That's all I'm looking at there. Still doing its monthly 5 EMA ride here, um, and still making higher lows. So, okay on the monthly. We'll see how it plays out. It's all about this weekly chart now, I think. With this indecision doji and these, failure to get above the 12 EMA again and making new lows, and the daily downtrend. So there's nothing positive about Encore at the moment. So, if the rest of the space really starts running, Encore is starting to set itself off as a laggard play, right? You could argue that there's a little inverse head and shoulders going here, right? So you could argue there's an inverse head and shoulders. Let me just give you a little visual there because it's probably tougher to see unless you're used to looking for that stuff. Okay, so it's kind of like that, right? So that's what that's what I'd be watching on Encore. Let's just look at global because it's everybody loves global. So yeah, I mean, it's made some new lows here on the daily. It does look like it's starting to want to break down, but I think I remember I looked at the weekly. I said, yeah, that's pretty good. So it is a weekly bounce. It's respecting the 12 EMA, like most everything does in this space. Um, Good bounce, and it made a new weekly high. So it's this for now. I could even put this alert here. For now, this global low on the weekly is set. Got to see how it plays out, right? Monthly is probably still pretty good. Yeah, monthly's a bull flag in formation and looks pretty healthy, and there's plenty of room to run. Um, yeah, global looks fine. It just doesn't trade like these big things. Let's look at Centrus, man. It's been a while. Yeah, so Centrus is just in beatdown mode constantly. 12 EMA on the daily is your rejection point. This is the white box. Someone had asked me something recently, and I just kind of. This is another value area inside this big value area, which is the orange box. So we're just kind of seeing how it reacts. I mean, it's just whatever. It's doing Centrus things. Weekly is, nothing special. Still making new weekly lows every week. So, this is the first sign of a little bit of buying support here on this weekly for what? For how long? 5 weeks, 6 weeks, right? First sign because we're getting a little bit of a wick there. So there were some buyers. We have an increase in volume. This is a little level where you could say, oh, it got saved. Otherwise, you could be starting to look down here. But anyway, I mean, that's one positive thing to say, right? Monthly indecision again, indecision doji, basically framing out this value area inside the value area. It's I don't know. It's no reason for me to look at. Again, everybody, the space is having a little bit of this look with that inverse head and shoulders. I bet you the 2 day it might be clear. Let me just see something. Yeah, so look at these 2 days. You can start to see it there. So whatever. Centrus is a tough one. There's no doubt about that. Next gen. Yeah, I mean, you could go back to my video, which I posted on February 25th. Where is February 25th, right? Um, I talked about hourly falling wedges, right? Hourly falling wedges are bullish patterns. Breaks out of the hourly falling wedge while taking out the 12 EMA, off to the races, right? So if you caught that bottom, like I did, you're making money. You're pretty happy. And, I took some profits, no doubt. Letting the rest ride. Might even look for a reload. Let's see how it plays. Daily, what a great move, right? I mean, this is blast off here. So, yeah, a lot of people have a lot to say about this company and the management, but no denying that it's a very strong stock and it's a fantastic moneymaker. You guys do it however you want to do it. So the weekly is, yeah, it's a great move. It just closed well above the 12. Everything says that the weekly is going to be moving up a little bit more, but you have to be aware. We can kill this falling wedge now. You have to be aware of the possibility of a weekly head and shoulders forming here. And I've been talking about the weekly head and shoulders in the space for a long time. I said, once this drawdown began, I said, next thing you need to be watching for is the weekly head and shoulders. Okay? Weekly head and shoulders pattern. Next gen might be the first one to tell us that that these patterns might play out across the board. So it does pay to pay attention to what happens with this next gen weekly head and shoulders because it's there and it's a possibility. Bulls don't get mad at me, okay? Anyway, monthly, looking good, inside bar, got to see which way things break now. Weekly head and shoulders is all I would care about on this on next gen right now because it's going to say a lot about the rest of the space if it does play out. SMR made a video on it. Go check it out. I made it today. Uh, Big character change for this stock, in my opinion. UEC on the weekly. See, no, UEC, different than next gen. Next gen is just, you know, uh, next gen and Denison so far are the best lookers in the space. I mean, that's just no two ways about it. So, weekly 12 EMA rejections. Let's just see here. It's probably a daily trend change. Yeah, it's a dinky one, but it's a daily trend change. It's got the inverse head and shoulders look to it, right? Uh, so, I mean, it's do what you want with it. It's there. Um, you know, if you want to say what's the possibility with UEC, I'd be looking at next gen's daily inverse head and shoulders and what happened there. And it got across this 12 EMA that was in rejection. Yeah, the weekly needs work. It's just continuing on its downtrend. The monthly is still an inside bar. It's still holding last month's low. Decent enough sign for now. URA monthly still holding its lows from previous month. Weekly 12 EMA rejection. You know, daily has a daily done anything here? The daily has made a trend change, and it's just starting to fight its way over. So, you know, the theme of the space from the technical perspective is that um, you're coming off of a little bit of a correction. The dailies are starting to show positivity. The weeklies and the monthlies are still in bull mode for the most part. Some names are different, but you have to just take each one individually. But the space is starting to put in a bit of a bounce across the board. Let me just see something if I run a fib here because I don't have one on here. So let me just, Fibonacci. Once I get a pivot like that, I feel like I can run a fib. Let me just look just to see what's going on. Yeah, so we're still in full blown bear flag mode on the daily. You still have a bear flag on the weekly. If you're using this as your pole, it's a bear flag, all right? The first sign that's, it's a possibility that it might not be is it gets over 382 retracement. And it's less likely to confirm if it gets over the 50% retracement or at least hits it. That's kind of where we want to be. So really want to see this 28 to 29 zone get going, right? URG on the weekly outside bar, new low, 12 EMA rejection. Daily, kind of everything looks the same. Daily's changing its trend. Okay, so it's still, if you're not early because only the people working off the hourly charts we're catching bottoms, but you're still it's in decent tradable bounce spots here when using these lows, and that kind of goes across the board. Monthly is probably going to be an inside bar, I would guess. Yeah, monthly is an inside bar, so some decisions have to be made. URNJ monthly, fine. Higher lows still across the board. Weekly 12 EMA rejection, inside bar. Um, Daily trend change, no follow through. Still a bear flag. URNM, no daily trend change, still a bear flag. 12 EMA, daily rejection bear control guide. Weekly 12 EMA rejection, probably an inside bar and a monthly. Inside bar, but getting really close. I mean, this is this is the support to hold. Otherwise, we'll see you down at the 44 range probably. There's just too many bottoms here. It's been tested too many times for it not to hold. So, that's what URNM's looking like right now. UROY. Oh, that's a mess. UROY still a bear flag, still a 12 EMA rejection on the daily. I'm just killing these fibs. Just doing something, being quick now, right? Weekly. Yeah, so far away from this 12 EMA. Look, this is just a way you can gauge strength, right? So, I mean, most of the names in the space are at least close. I mean, they're still getting rejected by the weekly 12 EMA, but they're close. UROY is not the same. UROY is absolutely different. So, um, The monthlies, it's still an inside bar, but it's at the lowest, but it's early, right? So this is monthlies are tough to make the gauge right now because it's such a brand new month, but still a daily downtrend, still the 12 EMA rejection. That's kind of where I'd be sticking to looking at. So daily, it's got its bounce on. It has not confirmed its trend change yet. It will confirm when it gets over 677. So, but you know, good golden pocket bounce here off of this fib pull from the bottom and that pivot. So it tested this golden pocket twice and now has taken out Thursday's high. So, and it's closed above the 12 EMA. So there's some positivity here, but it's closed above it there too. So we still have to take out 677 to confirm the weekly, the daily trend change. Weekly set this bottom for now uh, because it's made a new high as opposed to last week. Um, yeah, 12 EMA is still going to be the guide here. All this moving average, the entire moving average stack is right up here around 7. So, it could start to be a little bit of a bone of contention when it gets there. Don't be surprised if there's rejection there. That's all I'm saying. Same deal with the monthly on it. Nothing crazy. I guess as a bonus, we'll look at U.UN. Yeah, monthly, absolutely fine, right? The metric for full bear control is the yellow line on the monthly, which is the 5 EMA, and it's still holding it, right? So monthly bulls have no problem with what's going on with this name right now, regardless of this pullback. Weekly is a little bit of a different story, right? So you're getting the weekly 12 EMA rejection. It's acted as support forever. Now it's starting to act as resistance. So monthly bulls are concerned about the weekly bears because the bears are starting to exhibit some control here, and they haven't for a very, very long time. The last time the bears had some control was down here in April of 2022, right? This formation started accumulation here, and we were off to the races again at some point. The daily is just kind of doing the same thing we saw at this last bottom, right? So you probably expect because when you get some periods of volatility, you get a period of equilibrium, so you can get the next move up or down, whichever way it goes, right? We have a huge period of volatility, a little bit down. Now we're trying to put in an equilibrium. So it's let it form the base, see where it goes from there. That's the way I'm looking at it. Yeah. Okay, so that's it, man. Probably a little bit of a longer one, but trying to pack a lot in. As anybody knows, the things that are going to lead this space are the big boards in the sector. So they're the most important ones to watch. Over and out.